Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in my past life, I was a bit of a voracious reader. I would read all the time, anywhere, any place, any book. But once I became an adult and I had kids and I got a job, reading kind of took a nosedive for me. So I've tried to get back into habit more than once, trying just to read a book at my leisure, and I always fall into the books, and it's always amazing and I love it. But, the habit always dies again and I don't get to back to reading. So this month I decided to start reading again. What I've done is I used to, it makes it sound like it's a million years ago. For the last several weeks, I've been experimenting with getting up earlier. At first it was 4 a.m. That didn't work. It was way too early. And then it moved to 5 a.m. And 5 a.m.'s good. My brain can function, but I didn't like doing work at 5 a.m. Like, it was a drag to pull myself out of bed and get upstairs. So my husband, bless his soul, had an awesome idea. He's like, well, why don't you use that time to read? And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna fall back asleep. That's not gonna work. But I gave it a shot. And you know what, guys? It was a game changer, a life changer. I actually want to get up at 5 a.m. because that's the time I can read before the kids go to school. So on that note, I thought I would share with you what I'm going to read in the month of September. Now, I'd like to say that I went on a bit of a book haul hunt and bought lots and lots of books, but the truth is I already did that like last year. And I have tons of books lying around that I bought intending to read and then didn't get around to it. So while I did go on a bit of a book haul, that was only a book haul of 2 books. Can it be called a haul if it's only 2 books? In any case, one of the 2 that I bought, and the first one for this month, is A Touch of Darkness. Now, I know I am late to the game on this book. It's been out for... Actually, I have no idea how long it's been out. It's been out long enough that the author has written 4 in this series and then 3 more in like the next one that's just about Hades alone. So this is a story about Persephone and Hades, and that's a bit of a sweet spot for me. I guess you could say it's a guilty pleasure. I love Greek mythology, and Persephone and Hades happens to be one of my favorite myths. I have read several books like this. I'm a humongous fan of Lore Olympus, the online webcomics. I have those books in softcover in my library, and I have pre-ordered everything of that can be pre-ordered, so I'm a big fan of that myth. So I decided to pick up this book. Now, I have a few qualms about this book. I probably should say that I have already read this book. I spent the last week reading this book before I made this video because I was waiting for one more book to come in. So this last week I read this book and I blew through it in like 2.5 days. I wouldn't call it 3 days because I read it in 2 mornings, and then on the 3rd morning I finished it up in 15 minutes. I probably should have kept reading the night before, but you know what? I was falling asleep, so I couldn't keep doing that. So anyways, I have a few qualms with this book. Mainly the horns. If anyone's read this book, they'll understand what I mean. For some reason, the author gave all Greek gods and I guess demigods horns, and I do not understand the rationale behind that. In this story, at least, I haven't read any of the other ones, but at least in this one, there's no reason given why these Greek gods randomly have horns, and maybe just the fact that they can explain how each god has a different type of horns. I think it was like Zeus has like ram horns, and in this case like Persephone has like gazelle horns. I mean, it's really strange, and I had a hard time getting over it. In any case, it was a good read. I should talk about this later. The next book I'm reading is Certain Dark Things, and I am super excited about this. I've actually already started it. I'm only on page 10, so I haven't gotten that far into it. But I loved her Mexican Gothic, so I was really excited to learn that she had this story in her library, and it seems It's like, if I'm certain everybody has already read this, because again, I'm late to the game because I haven't been reading for a couple of years, so I have to catch up on. But she calls it like neon noir with vampires, which, I don't know, that sounds amazing, right? So anyways, I'm really excited to read this. I've already started it this morning, and I'm looking forward to getting up every morning to read this. Next on my list, Ghost Squad. This sounds adorable, and how cute is this cover art? I mean, oh my god, really? I have a thing for all things witchy. I love my story that I'm currently writing is about a witch. I like to write witch short stories and serials. And this book, even though it's below my age group, I'm pretty sure it's like for elementary, middle school kids. This seems like it fits right into everything that I like about books. It's about a little girl, and I think the blurb said that she's like losing her family home, and you know, spurs adventure, and so I am super excited to read this. Next after that is going to be The Killing Moon, and I gotta admit, I know nothing about this book. I bought it purely on a whim because of Amazon's algorithm. They recommended it to me. I read the blurb, it sounded interesting, and then I bought it, but I bought it last year, so then I promptly forgot about it. I have no idea why I bought this. I mean, I'm reading the blurb again, and it sounds interesting. In an ancient city-state, peace is the only law, but there's people there's duties to harvest the magic of the sleeping mind and use it to heal, soothe, and kill. I mean, anything with magic is gonna grab my attention, but other than what I'm like literally right now reading on the back, I have no idea what this book is about, so this will be fun to read. And the last book I have on my list is actually the one that I was waiting to come in. I pre-ordered this sucker, I don't know, months ago. I am not a huge Stephen King fan. I like him. I think he's a very good writer. I'm not really a horror person. I like books that have horror elements, but I don't like books that don't let me sleep at night. His stories have a tendency to get in my brain and not leave, and that's not good. But this one sounded interesting. It sounded more up my alley. I mean, the title is fairy tale. I mean, come on, it's gonna be right up my alley. But it sounds interesting in the way that all his books are. So, this is the pile of books that I hope to read this month. Obviously, I've already blown through one of them and started another, but I have high hopes for actually finishing this by the end of the month. And it's crazy that I want to get up at 5 a.m. to do this when normally I would just want to sleep. Honestly, this was a stroke of genius by my husband. I cannot wait to get up at 5 a.m. That sounds ridiculous. I'm not the kind of person that wants to get up that early in the morning, but here I am. In any case, I'll see you at the end of the month and hopefully let you know how all these books went, and hopefully with a new stack of books for October. Thanks for watching.